The success and lessons from his personal journey encouraged him to take up executive performance coaching. His 17 years exposure to business as a startup entrepreneur, business owner, executive director of BNI Qatar, and training in NLP combined with the life coaching has furnished him with a unique skill set of approaching all sort of predicaments as an opportunity by focusing on it with a solution-based mindset. It is with a great pleasure I welcome Mr. Mohammed Shabib for today's webinar. Mr. Mohammed Shabib.
Thank you, Nibai. Thank you so much for this great introduction. I really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited because this is an amazing opportunity for me to work with some of the best group of entrepreneurs in Qatar that I know. And the best thing is they're from my homeland, Kerala. Right, so I will be taking this session forward mostly in English because we also have a non-Malayali audience, but I will be also repeating some things in Malayalam just to create an emphasis. So the next life is basically, I think all of you can see my screen right now. I'll just share it once again just to make sure I have the right one. So the next life is basically a culmination of a long dream. When I started off my career back in 2003, I worked in a software company for 1 month, and the next month, my father came to my office and he asked me, "Why don't you start something like this?" And that created an impetus for me to actually start off my entrepreneurial journey, and I started a software company in Cochin. In 2003, and that was basically before startup was a word. You know, the word startup didn't exist at that time. And then what happened is my colleague joined me, and we offered to buy out our employer. We offered to buy shares in our and to take it forward. So that I'm quite a good programmer, software programmer, and that time we had a project from Germany and we were able to complete that within 1 month. So we were, I was at the top of my expectations with regards to my own capacity, my colleagues' capacity, and how we can take it forward. And that started off a journey. And that company was basically called Zenex Technologies. Okay, so many people ask me, where did you get the word Zenex? So Zenex is basically a name that is 17 years old. It started off as my first startup. Now, what happened is over the time I invested in a tools company. I ended up operating that company, tools trading. So from software engineer to hardware, construction hardware trading. Then I went on to basically manage an ELV company, extra low voltage systems, firefighting systems. And then eventually I ended up with BNI. When I became the executive director of BNI, I used to think, okay, a lot of learnings in my journey, reaching where I am, and a lot of lessons, a lot of successes, a lot of failures also along the way. Lessons, I don't call failures as failures because it's only a result of a failure if it's a failure. If you take that result as a lesson, then it's a positive thing. You move ahead with the learnings that you have had. And that learnings, when you put into action, it becomes wisdom. So getting knowledge, is learning, the process of learning is basically gaining knowledge, applying it in things that you do, and then converting that to wisdom. Because over a period of time, you end up knowing what doesn't work. And you also end up knowing that there's a lot more that you don't know. And while I took up the executive director's role around 2 years back, I started understanding there was a realm or a level in the Alkara where we need to understand people. And what I realized was that you really have to understand how people think. And people think because of many things that they have already experienced. A child, when he or she is born, comes into the world completely like a blank slate. But from the first moment that person is born, from the point of time he or she is given a name, they start learning. They start learning to respond to their mother's voice. They start learning to respond to their mother's warmth, smell, and then their name. Then they start to recognize their father's face, the father's voice, and then their people around that. So, and from that moment on, that person's personality is being molded. And when it is molded, it basically becomes to a level where everything that they do in the next moment is basically based on what they have learned till then. And at some points in your life, you start meeting other people. And when you start meeting other people, new perspectives comes to you. And when new perspectives come to you, start thinking in new ways, which is why we say education is a great enabler. We go to school, we learn from our teachers, we learn from our friends. Sometimes there are bad habits also we learn, but that's also a part of the learning process, right? That's what life is. And then we go ahead and we learn from our first boss. We learn to work. So most of us learn to work from our first boss, from the first person we have worked under. And then we go on repeating what we learned. And at certain points, we learn something new again from somebody outside, and then we change our perspective, and then we change the way we are working. And we become more and more effective, which is why experience is such a key word in what we look for when we are hiring people. So all these things coming together basically just comes for the fact that life is a completely evolving thing. And the only thing that is constant in life is change. And the biggest example of that is what we're going through right now. When this COVID virus came, and then, we changed the way we are living. Our kids are now learning from schools. We are doing meetings online. None of us are coming face to face with each other physically. And then we are doing meetings online, and suddenly the whole economy has changed. The organization that I'm with right now, BNI itself, from where we never expected to become an online online company, at least for the next decade, overnight we became a completely online company. So change is the only constant thing. And if you are adaptive to change, if you're adaptive to learning, if you're adaptive to gaining knowledge and applying it, and then taking the wisdom of that application in, then you basically end up one second. You end up growing. Okay. So the Grow workshop is something that is very, very close to my heart, because it is when I learned the concept of Grow that I understood that a lot of things that I do in my life is basically because of whatever I spoke right now. And that's what we all do. Every human being basically does that. Okay. Our learnings, our experience is basically what guide us going ahead. And that is what grows. And the ideas that we create. So you would be thinking why the plant is inside the bulb. So always ideas are basically a light bulb, right? All of you know that ideas are light bulbs. So how many of you okay, I have an idea, and suddenly, you get this light bulb movement. So if you think that is that, just type yes in the chat box. Those who can type yes, please, because this is interactive. I want you to please interact with me also. So put your fingers on the keyboard if you can type on the keyboard. Those who have phones, it's okay. And then suddenly the light bulb comes into your head, right? So for me, the light bulb is not just the fact that it comes in, but the light bulb is basically also a glass container that contains our experiences. And based on that experiences, whatever ideas that comes in, basically sometimes gets restricted. Sometimes it's a great idea, okay? So we really have to understand. We also have to learn to trust ourselves, but we also have to learn to trust others, take others' opinions, and understand how we can grow. So Grow workshop is one of my favorite subject. When life coaching came, for me, the aha moment, when I did a 1-year life coaching course, along with an extensive NLP course, where I actually went to Bangalore. In the last 18 months, I was in Bangalore for more than 30 days to attend courses in NLP and life coaching. And online, I was attending every week for 2 hours at the weekend on Thursday evenings without going out with my family. I was spending time learning life coaching. On top of that, I also practice this extensively. I spend hundreds of hours practicing life coaching. And I have a lot of clients, and some of the people in this room are my clients also. Those are on the screens right now. So for me, the Grow was the turning moment for me in life coaching, because when I learned that what Grow is, I told my coach, my master coach, my life has changed from this point of time onwards. And then when I saw a lot of my fellow life coaches struggling to grasp the Grow, I asked my coach, why are people having so much difficulty? And then he gave me another life lesson. Okay, another lesson which taught me patience when I'm dealing with people. What he told me was, Shabi, when you're cooking popcorn, okay, I don't know how many of you have cooked popcorn. Those who have cooked popcorn, just type yes that you have cooked popcorn. So when you cook popcorn, cooking, what happens is we put the corn, everything in the chola complete, we put it in the thick vessel, and then we cover it, and then we wait after switching on the flames. And the important thing is, you've eaten popcorn. All of us have eaten, but cooking it is a great experience. It's a waiting. And when you're waiting, what happens is it starts popping. Tuck, 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 tuck. Slowly, slowly it starts popping and suddenly tuck, and then the whole thing fills up with full of popcorn, right? And some of them don't pop also. You get the burned popcorns also. So my coach told me that, Shri, people are like popcorn. You have to understand. When you're telling them, everyone has a speed of understanding. And that speed is like popcorn. Some people learn fast. The corn pops faster for them. For some people, it takes some time. And at one point, a lot of them pop. And that's when you have to be patient till that change happens. So if you are trying something in your organizations, if you're trying something with your families, if you're trying something within your communities, understand the popcorn metaphor and just see, are the corns popping, and just wait for a specific moment of time when all those corns are going to pop. Some of them will not, but then that's how life is. Okay. So going ahead with the Grow workshop, I hope I have set this up well for you, and I hope that you are excited now to learn as much as I am. Going ahead about what we are going to learn right now. If you're excited, type yes, because I want to know whether you guys are excited. Let's type yes if you are excited right now to learn what Grow is all about. Excellent, excellent, very good. Thank you for indulging me. So Grow is basically an acronym. Okay. GROW is an acronym where G stands for goals, R stands for reality, O stands for options, and W stands for what will you do, will do. Okay. It's a beautiful system. It's a beautiful system. All of us is applying this already. Okay. So we set up a goal and we basically want to move from where we are to where we want to go. And we create some options. Sometimes we just don't, we don't look for too many options just because we want to rush to that destination. We find the easiest way and then we start doing things. But what we say in life coaching, when we apply the Grow philosophy, what we say is there is something that you have to look a bit more deeper, go a bit more layers deeper. So over the last few weeks, KBF has been doing an amazing job giving a series of webinars, right? Where we learned about the financial aspect from Shaji, we learned about the nutritional aspect, we learned about how to use the COVID as an opportunity from Samir. And now we need to apply this. So all this knowledge is there now for us. Now we have to really take this knowledge, apply it, and create that into an experiences and results from which we learn and we become wiser, as well as we create the results that we're looking for. So what I'm going to equip you with today is basically this model, which will help you take all those learnings and convert that into results that you want to achieve, even during this time. Believe me, a crisis might be the biggest opportunity that you ever had. And if you look at most of the successes over the last century, some of the biggest winners ever came during times of crisis. Okay, so let's understand how this works. Okay, so goal is basically what you're trying to achieve. There are two simple things that you have to understand. Okay, when you're writing down a goal, I'm going to give you some time to write down a goal after I just describe this first set of slides. Those who have something in your mind, please start thinking about a goal that you have. But the goal is basically two things, two simple things. What is the problem that you want to tackle? So, usually people have a goal because they don't have enough of something or they have too much of something. So when do you have too much of something? I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me that you have too much of something. What do you have too much of? You want to type it out? I know what I have too much of. There's something around my tummy that is too much of, right? So most of us are struggling too much of that. And what we have some little of, sometimes we think, okay, I wish I had some more money, or I wish I had some more energy to run, to do some things that I want to do, right? So it's what problem you want to tackle is one of the things that you really have to understand when you are setting up a goal, okay? And the second thing that you have to really understand is, what does the situation look like when the problem is resolved? So what is it? So some people might be smoking too much. So you're smoking too much is a problem, right? So then what does the situation look like when the problem is resolved? Now, this is where a lot of people actually find the shortcut. So when you write down the goal, you just write down what you don't want to do. So if someone is a smoker and suddenly they write down, I don't want to smoke, I want to quit smoking. They just write down what they don't want to do. Now, the thing about goals, I'm just going to explain that to you, that doesn't actually work. That is why 95% of the people are not able to quit smoking. Okay, only 5% of the people actually end up with smoking. It's because they do not look at how does the situation look like when the problem is resolved. So smoking is a problem. Smoking is finished. It's not about stopping smoking, but what happens after that? That's the goal. Okay, we're going to see how that is. This is what we call as an outcome. So goal for you is stopping to smoke, but then you need to define the outcome of it. What improves for you? What changes for you? That is very important for us to understand. So how many of you have basically taken a decision like, okay, this is where I want to start and this is where I want to end. But then you end up with so many options and so many things that you start getting lost. Yes, you will come out, but you come out somewhere else. How many of you have had that happening? Just type yes if you think that happened to you, right? That happens to a lot of people. It's happened to me. You know, for me, I'm someone who, I'm a social smoker. I used to be a social smoker, but now I don't smoke. Since the last 13 months, I haven't touched a cigarette. And it changed for me because I started applying the knowledge I had. I applied Grow. I created an outcome which I wanted to create by stopping to smoke. And then things changed. I didn't, you know, ever since that, I never felt the compulsion to touch a cigarette. Now, you also really have to understand that when you're trying to go forward in life, when you are trying to achieve your goals, there are it's not about doing a lot of things together. It's about doing simple things, simple steps, breaking it down and doing those simple steps stage by stage, which actually takes your life up. What happens is the same things also hits us back if we make simple errors in judgment. So someone is like, okay, you want to lose weight, you haven't touched a Faluda for 30 days, and suddenly you touch that Faluda. A lot of people are smiling right now on the cameras when I say this. And then suddenly your Faluda has actually collapsed your weight management plan, right? So simple errors in judgment also create that. So why is that? I'm not saying you shouldn't indulge. You should reward yourself. But then what happens is getting back on track becomes a problem. So just let's go understanding that sometimes it's okay to fail also. It is okay to fail. Why? Because success is sometimes the outcome of a whole string of failures. Not many people have succeeded at the first go. Very, very rarely have people succeed in the first go. You know, for example, you know, a very simple example I want to say is, you know, iPhones changed the way we perceived communication and personal devices, right? But when iPhones was being created, a group of engineers showed a prototype to Steve Jobs. And he said, make it smaller. They said, sir, no, we can't make it smaller. It's the smallest we can do. The only thing that he did was he took that prototype, put it in a glass of water, air started coming out. He said, you know, there's air coming out, there's more space inside, make it smaller. So there's this perception that you have to really see. A group of engineers who said this is not possible. He just took very simple example, put it in water, the air started coming out, and suddenly things change, right? So over here, I want to actually get a feedback from you by, there was one feedback I want to take earlier. I'm sorry. So the first thing I want to just ask you is, have you attended any goal setting workshop before? Just over the next 1 minute, just answer. Have you attended any goal setting workshop before, just to understand whether, you know, how I can take this? Yes, okay. Good, great. Almost all of you have responded. Amazing. Okay. I'm going to just end polling. Okay. 60% people have voted. Can the balance 40% people just vote? A few more people have to vote. I'll give you a few more seconds. Please touch on the screen, yes or no. That's it. Very simple. 70% have voted. 73 has voted. Go on. Let's just touch the screen. Now I know who's not attending. Okay, some people are here but not listening to us. They're not actually in front of the screen. So all those off cameras, come on guys, put your fingers on the screen. All right, good. We have got 78% voted. Okay, I'm going to close this in 10 seconds. We have a 22% more people to vote. If you can vote, that'll be great. 80%. 2 seconds. Okay, 80% have voted. Out of 80%, 62% people have attended goal setting, and 38% haven't. Good, great. So I'm sure that all of you will have something to learn. Now, I just want you to please answer this question. Success is sometimes the outcome of a whole string of failures. Do you agree? Yes, maybe, no. And there's no right or wrong in this. There's no right or wrong. Whichever answer you choose is right, because it's based on your experience. I'm not saying your experiences are wrong. Our experiences are never wrong. They're great teachers. We just have to learn from them and move ahead. So success is sometimes the outcome of a whole string of failures. Do you agree? Yes, maybe. Good. 61% has voted. I'll give you a few more seconds. 40 seconds. Someone's mic is on. If you could switch off your mic, that'll be great. 71% has voted. Whose mic is on? Someone's mic is on. Okay, I got it. All right. So I'm going to close in 10 seconds. Just waiting for the response. So now I'm guaranteed, okay, there are some people who have switched off their camera are not in front of this thing. They're not paying attention. I do not know who it is, but guys, please come back and let's pay attention. 83%. Okay, good. Okay, I'm finishing it. So you have seen the result. So one person says no, 13 people said maybe, and 22 people said yes. Good. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Okay. As I said, there's no right or wrong. It's just to understand how we perceive this. Right. Now going ahead, let's just understand how we'll define a goal as an outcome. Okay. Let's just understand how we'll define a goal as an outcome. So it should be defined as a way that the outcome is in our control. So outcome is stated in a way it is in our control. Like when this finishes, the result, we are still in control of the result. But if you give the control, if you lose control of the result, what happens is you'll go back to the same habit. So you have to state the outcome in a way it is in your control. The second thing you really have to understand is you have to use some methodologies. Now, many of you must have heard about the SMART goals when you are working in your business: specific, measurable, achievable, result-oriented, and time-bound. This works in teams and businesses. Many people try to use this for their personal ones, but let me tell you, it's a bit stretched for personal goals. I'm focusing on personal goals today, mostly. Some people, me as an NLP coach, my favorite system which I coach people with is using 7 dimensions of a well-formed outcome. So if you come to me with a goal saying that I want to sit with you and create a goal which will work, this is the system I use. We look at 7 dimensions of the goal. Is it positive? What is the content? What is the context? What kind of senses? Like what will you see? What will you hear? What will you feel? What's the ecology of it? So if you are a smoker but you are living with a smoke, and want to stop smoking but your roommate is a smoker, then you need to maybe change the room that you're living in, because you will never be able to stop it because you're being influenced by someone else. So ecology. So we look at the ecology. We look at the evidence. How do you know that you have stopped? So I'm just going back to the smoking thing because it worked for me. If you look at it, how long can you hold your breath? So that's what I used to look. Okay, how long can I hold my breath? I can hold my breath for almost 1 minute, 35 seconds now. What are the resources that you have? So sometimes we are trying to do something, but we don't have the resources. So sometimes you just have to invest in a resource, or you have to create a skill to overcome something that you are. So this is a system which I use with my clients. But at this time, right now, we are talking about how to basically use a system that works for you at a personal level. So this is a 3P system. Okay, this 3P system has been created by Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is one of the best life coaches ever. He is still alive. He's 76 years old. He's a multi-millionaire. His time management workshops are legendary. I follow his time management workshops, and I really apply that in my life. He's a person who came up with the famous tagline, "Eat the frog first in the morning before you go with anything else." So do the thing that you don't really like first thing in the morning, so everything else becomes easier. So what he says is, when you're stating an outcome, you state it as though it is happening right now. So you must have written some goals right now, right? By now you should have come up with some goals. What I want you to do is, when we are going ahead, as you're going ahead, I'll give you a minute or two, write it down as though it is happening right now. Write it as though you are personally in control of that result, and write it in a way that it is positive. Do not use negative words. So when you are talking about stopping smoking, don't say stop smoking. You say, I will be having the best of health with my lungs so strong that I can stay underwater for 2 minutes. Now, if I need to do that, I have to obviously stop smoking, right? So that becomes my goal, and that drives me to actually become positive. And then I look at what I need to stop to make that happen, to get there. So make a positive goal, make a personal goal, because I'm in control of that experience of staying underwater, holding my breath, and say it as though I'm doing it right now. So when you do that right now, you're basically reinforcing as though it is happening right now. So you're already half there. Your mind is already programmed to actually create that reality for you. Our brain is our biggest tool and sometimes our biggest challenge also, because our brain has a very big capacity. There's a capacity to generalize, distort, and delete. If we learn how we can control these three aspects, ഈ മൂന്ന് കാര്യങ്ങൾ വലുതാക്കി കാണിക്കുക, ചെറുതാക്കി കാണിക്കുക, ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ മറച്ചു വെക്കുക, ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഇത് അങ്ങനെയാണ് അങ്ങനെ തീരുമാനിക്കുക. So ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു രീതിയിൽ ഈ മൂന്ന് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ നിന്ന് what happens is sometimes it helps us win, but most of the time it actually helps us. It doesn't help us because we go into a behavioral pattern that doesn't actually work for us. So write down your goal. If you can take a minute or so. As I'm saying this, you can write down your goal. Just write down a goal if you have a goal, and write it as though it is happening right now. Write it in positive words, and write it as though you are in control of that result. You are in control of what is happening right now when this has happened, when this outcome has happened. Okay, I'll just give a minute. And at that time, also launching a poll to understand, have you used any one of these? It's multiple choice. Okay, so others, my own methods. You can choose multiple choice in this. If you have used a SMART goal system, if you use SWOT, so SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. It is also a goal formation system, but it is something that is it's one of the most misunderstood and misused tool. A lot of people do the SWOT, but then they do the SWOT and they don't know what to do next. So I also work with people on the SWOT analysis, on how they can create a SWOT analysis and really create that impact. I will give, the timer will go up to 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes because some of you are writing down your goals. I want you to write down your goals also and plus answer the poll. Okay. Now after this, we'll be moving a bit more faster. This was basically one of the important parts of this workshop. %70 people have voted. It will be on for another 30 seconds. Those who have not written a goal, I encourage you to write a goal. You're here spending time in a workshop. So use it to work on yourselves. What you're doing right now is working on your success. So use this time, guys. 80% has voted. Great. 82%. And don't believe me, the polling is anonymous. I do not know who has answered what. So if you're hesitating from pressing, thinking that Shadib will know that I have given this answer, believe me, I do not know. I just know how many people have voted. That's it. It's anonymous completely. So please do not hesitate to vote thinking that this is not anonymous. It's anonymous. Right. So I'm ending the poll and I'll show you the results. So SMART goals, 15% of the people have used. SWOT analysis, 47 people. 3P method, 6%. Others have used 12%. My own methods, 79%. So 34 people have their own methods. And if I'm telling you, your own methods are sometimes the best, because if you have created majority of success from your goals, like it has worked in 80% plus 80% of the time, use it. Continue using it. Because, Pareto's law says that if something works for 80%, you continue doing that. Okay. So if something is working for you 80% of the time, do it. If it is not, if it is less than 80%, I encourage you to explore other methods also. Okay. Because that is where you're getting into a loop that I know the way out. Sometimes you don't. So I'm just encouraging you, if your goal setting system, if your own method hasn't worked in at least 80% of the time, start exploring something else also, because it will give you better success. Okay. We are here for success, right? If you're here for success, type yes. If you're here for success, type yes, so that you are open to that thought process of, yes, I will look at other goals also, goal setting exercises also. Great. Excellent. All of you are really charged. I'm also charged now. I'm getting charged now. Okay. So now one of the things that we understood is G is for goals. So next is R. If next is R, what does R stand for? It stands for reality, right? We spoke about reality. So yeah, sometimes the reality is a bit bleak. I'm putting in some of my experiences. So I gave a gray color. Don't think that everybody's reality is bleak. Don't whitewash it with this. I just want to give you a perspective. Not all realities are bleak. Some realities are really good. It's just that we sometimes color our reality saying that we are, or Malayalical okay. Those who overcome that, they are the most successful ones. Okay, what I said is the grass is always greener on the other side. This is something that we carry as a trait, and many of the people around the world have this. We are always jealous, or we are sometimes envious of what, and it's okay to be envious of others' success, because if you are wishing good for that person and you are saying, I really wish I was successful as him, I wish him more success, that's okay. But if you're saying, I wish that guy was not so successful, that's a bad thing. Don't do that. Okay, then you also do not succeed, because you are a mirror of your own thoughts. You have to really understand it. So don't wish anybody bad. If somebody is doing good, bless them, and then be jealous of the fact that you will work as hard or harder than him to create that success for yourself. Okay, so use that in a good way, not in a bad way. So what are your experiences? That's what I said. So if you're having a negative jealousy, don't do that. You create a positive jealousy out of it. So most of the time what happens is our experiences are very negative, and we try to overcome negative experiences with negative words. So like I said, smoking sometimes gives us positive also. So if you're someone who's having a bad habit, which is giving you a positive experience, but that habit is a negative one, which in the long term will not help you, you be truthful with yourself. Be truthful with yourself and write down the fact of what is actually affecting that negative part of it. Okay. So what are you experiencing is something that you have to really write down. So in many of the goals, right, that all of you have written right now, you would be writing that because you're experiencing something right now. Right? As we said earlier, what is your current experience? Write it down, because the first step toward moving towards your goal comes from changing those experiences. And the other question you have to ask yourselves is, what have you already tried? I am 100% sure that 95% of the people over here have written a goal which they have tried working on before. Okay, and they have tried some things before. It's not worked, right? So go back and write down what has not worked, because those are the things maybe you have to keep aside, or those are the things maybe you have to try in a different way. Get this? So it's all about creating options for yourselves. And the third thing that you have to really understand is, what are the obstacles in your way? Sometimes there are obstacles. Sometimes there are things that you have to literally remove from in front of you before you can actually go ahead. So you really have to understand what those walls are. Sometimes they're physical. Sometimes they're entirely in our mind. Sometimes they're entirely okay. And I'll give you some questions that will actually open up your mind. Okay, how many? So I'm going to launch one more poll right now, just to understand how the things are. Before I launch the poll, just let me show you something. So what distorts, deletes, or generalizes our current reality is perceptions. Okay. There's two types of perceptions. Some of them are internal perceptions. Some of them are external. Okay, we have internal things which we keep to ourselves, but then we think, if I do it like that, what will that guy think about it? What will this guy think about it? What will my wife think about it? What will my husband say? What will my kids say? Right? So a lot of perceptions come in. And what do these perceptions do? They inject your reality. They come into your reality and they dilute your reality. It basically creates a false reality in your mind, which you might have to just step outside and look at from a different angle. When you look at it from a different angle, it changes a lot of things. A very simple example, okay? For most of you, for almost all of you, your role model, who is your role model? The first role model in your life. For most of you over here, who is it? Just type. It's mostly the first, exactly. It's your dad, right? It's your father. He's your first role model. I'll give you a very, 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 very simple tip, okay? If you're facing a problem and you are going to take a solution on it, take a step back and think, if I was in my dad's shoes, what will he do? Very simple tip, but do it and it will change the way you're thinking. If I was in my dad's shoes, your uncle, yeah. So if I was in my uncle's shoes, if he was here, if he was faced with the situation, what will he do? And that will actually change a lot of things for you. You will start seeing a lot of different solutions which you never saw before. This is it. If nothing, I want you guys to take this away. This very simple tip. Start looking at things from the eyes of your role model. sit and apply the same time thinking. So you might have spent 1 hour thinking about it. I'm telling you, spend the same 1 hour thinking from their shoes. Okay, from their perspective. And if they're around, if it's a possibility to call them, and if something that you can discuss with them, do that. I did that today with my father. And he told me, Shabib, before you take this decision, think for 5 more days. I'm going through some challenges, just like as you are during this COVID. And I took a decision which has some financial implications. I called him, Dad, I'm having this problem. He's in India. I called him and I told him, and he told me, just wait for 4 or 5 more days, and then you take the decision. I said, fine, no problem. And I'm relaxed completely because of it. Because I said, okay, 3 or 4 more days, I'm going to take time, I'm going to think about it. And he gave me some perspectives also, which I didn't think about. So that's the beauty of it. Take advice from the people you trust the most and apply it. Sometimes, yes, they don't have all the answers. Maybe your answer is the best one, but then the thing is, it's about critical analysis, it's about critical thinking. Okay. Now, before we go there, okay, before we go into the next slide, I have a poll for you. Okay. Again, have you ever had a new perception of your reality when you changed how you felt or someone else explained a new viewpoint? Please answer this. So you had a feeling, so sometimes it was feeling of fear, and then you suddenly thought, okay, I'm not going to be afraid about this any longer. And suddenly you had solutions come to you. Sometimes it was a feeling of apprehension. What will that person think? And you just said, I'm not going to be thinking about that. Whatever comes, I'm going to do this, right? So sometimes, always, good. So sometimes or always, right? And most people never, right? So you really have to use this. We are already using this. I'm encouraging you to use this more. Okay. I'm going to end the polling in another 10 seconds. And I have more people voting. It's 68% now. Some people are a bit, it's okay. I understand what you're going through right now. When I did the GROW model also, I went through some times where the thought process in my head was taking me some time. That's completely okay. Some of you will get this very fast. Remember the popcorn. It's okay if your corn is popping a bit later also. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm seeing 68% have voted. 71% have voted. I'm just sharing the result. So never have you seen a new perception. I invite you to look into it. Okay. As I said, there's no wrong or right. I'm inviting you. So someone has said he has never done that. It's okay. Take that step to just think about it and see the perceptions. Okay. Sometimes you just need to open up. That might be your challenge. Whoever it is, I just want to introduce you to the fact that you have had a feeling in your life that nobody else has the solutions for you. You like to be in control of your life. You are the master of your life is the feeling that you have. What I'm telling you is you can still be that. You just have to open your mind to a perception from others. You still take your own decisions. You're not letting them take decisions. You're just letting new perceptions come to you. It's just a thought that I'm introducing you to. Okay, great. So now let's go to the next part after reality. We're looking at options. Okay, so what are your options? So one of the biggest thing that stops you from doing things is you say, I don't have time. Right? A lot of you think about starting to exercise. I don't have time. Many of us think about starting to pray. I'm not getting time. Many of us start thinking about spending time with our kids. I don't have time. Right? So just remove the time as a problem, as an obstacle. Just think about your goal if time was not a factor. Sit back, spend 1 hour and spend your time in thinking, what if I had 6 months to do this? I don't have to do this in the next week. Many people put off things because they want to do this immediately. If you were not supposed to do this immediately, what would you do differently? What did you do differently? So sometimes what will happen is you stop doing some things that is taking too much of your time and actually start creating time. Does this make sense? If it makes sense, type yes. Type yes. Type yes if it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense also, it's okay. You can type no because it's okay. As I told you, over here, it's about our thoughts. You're just introducing new thoughts. Okay, great. So if time was not a factor, ask this question to yourself. If time was not a factor, what would I do differently? What would I do? Okay. What did you do if you knew you didn't fail? Many people don't do things because they think that it will never happen to them. Some people think that I will never make money in my life and they will not make money in life. Some people will think that this is investment in a stock market is not for me because I will always fail and they don't do it. Right? So many people put an obstacle in front of them just by deciding even before they start that they're going to fail. So I'm just introducing to you the question, what will you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Just as you know that you will fail, remove the thought and just sit. If you're turning left and thinking, I will fail, turn right and think, what will happen if I don't fail? Very simple. Okay, just turn your body. I'm telling you, if you just turn your body, that thought process will change. Just think, when you're thinking negative thoughts, sometimes you might be keeping like this. Okay, this is there is something, you just notice how you behave when you're thinking some negative thoughts. Some people sit like this and think like this. Okay, now I know I can't do this. You just move like this and keep this. What if I will not fail? Just do that. That physical action itself will change the way you will look at things. It will bring a totally different perspective. We as life coaches, we actually encourage people to do that. We call this submodalities and behavioral patterns. We look at people's behavior when they talk, what kind of gestures they use, what kind of actions they use when they're saying negative. And then we say, hey, listen, just put your left leg down and put your right leg up and then start speaking. And suddenly their thought process changes. And we see that, it's sometimes very subtle. So what happens if you knew you couldn't fail? Okay. And the best question is, what else can you do? So if you come up with one solution, my question to you is, okay, now you have one way, what's the other way? And then you come up with two ways. The third question is, what's the other way you have? You have two ways, now what's the third way? In life coaching, one of our principles is, if you have only one way to do things, you are stuck. Okay, if you have two ways to do things, you have a dilemma. Which one do I choose? When you have three things, the best thing is, you'll go on one way. If it doesn't work, you can always come back and find the next way. And when you have three or more ways, 99% of the time you succeed. 99% of the time you succeed, because what we say is, three or more choices, you get freedom of choice. And when you have freedom of choice, you end up choosing. Many people, when they have the freedom of choice, also get stuck. But that's where they sometimes need a small nudge from somewhere. Some small motivation is required. Okay, but it is one of the best ways, researched and recorded ways to succeed, is having three or more ways to reach the same goal. Then you find the shortest path there, the easiest path there. Sometimes the easiest path is not the best way also. So you always need to be very proactive. And we are going to be actually saying, so I'm saying something and I'm saying it otherwise also, right? So it's like a coin. Okay, think of a coin. Okay, I'm going to ask you all of you a question. When you toss a coin, how many ways of it are there to fall for a coin? Unikrishna said 3. Okay, how many ways can a coin fall? How many sides are there to a coin? Unichata, you should not have said that so fast. Everybody's thinking, okay, so 2 is there. 2, okay, 2. Okay, I'm going to give you a perspective. Okay, when you toss the coin, sometimes the coin lands on its edge. The coin has 3 sides, not 2 sides. Okay, if you look at it, the surface area of the edge is actually almost equal to the other sides, because the surface area is spread over a larger space. And I'm also going to give you one more perspective. When a coin falls on either one of the heads or tails, it's stationary. It just stays there. But the moment it falls on its edge, it balances the positive and the negative and it goes forward. Which edge do you want to be on now? Okay, so which side do you want to be on? So that's a perspective I want to give you. So that's where I say, when you have 3 or more options, it becomes really good, because you are able to create a momentum going ahead, because you balance. Okay, if you have too much of heads also is a problem. When you have too much of a tails is also a problem. When you're on the edge, things start happening in your life. Now, if it's a football game, don't ask me, Shabi, in a football game, what happens if it falls on the edge? Which team starts playing first? And that's not the thing that we were talking about right now. We're talking about your personal perspectives. Okay, right. Okay, poll. Again, one more poll. I really love taking feedback from my audience, which is why I'm doing this. So we spoke about perception. Time. Do you put off starting things because you thought you didn't have time? Okay, I'm going to launch this. Do you put off starting things because you thought you didn't have the time? Okay, never. Good, we have some really high achievers in the group. I'm really impressed. some really high driven achievers. 56% of the people have voted, 64 have voted, 66. Let's have some more people voting. Come on. I'll give you 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And okay, I'm ending the poll. So 76% of you voted. And okay, 3 people said always. They put off things. Sometimes, never. Some really driven people are there in this group. I really appreciate you. But sometimes it's good. You don't put off things because you didn't think you didn't have the time. Excellent. And I'm really, really impressed, guys, because you guys are really role models. Okay. Amazing. All right. Now, the next part of GROW, the last part, okay, GROW. Okay. So this is not the last part of GROW. This is the last part of the acronym of GROW. There is one more part to GROW, which we'll cover immediately after this, and we'll finish by 8:30 before we take the questions. What are your next steps? Now you have a plan. You know your goal. You understand the reality. You understand what are the options. The next step, what will you do? Which option are you going to choose? What's the first step you're going to take? So do you remember the first screen I showed you a lot of dots and then an arrow that is drawn through the dots? Do you remember that? So what's that first dot you're going to connect? Then what are you going to do? Then what are you going to do? So what's that first step? What's the next step you're going to take? You need to take that step. Till you take that action, your goal is just a wish. Okay. You just wish something would happen, but you're not taking action on it. So when you take action on it, it starts happening. When you do that, some results come. Then when that result comes, you will find, okay, is this favorable or not? But one of the things you really have to understand is failure is only a failure when you stop doing it, something. When you accept that there are positive and negative results to everything that you do, and you will go back and you will revisit your thoughts and see what actually created the negative result, change that, and then do it again, you are on the path to success. Failure is just a stage. It's not the destination. Success is always a destination. Failure is one of the stages in that way, which is why we said earlier, it's a string of failures. The outcome is actually success. Okay. So you really have to understand. So it's important for you to take that next step. What will you do? And very importantly, by when? Most people say, I will do it, I will do it, I will do it. They'll say it for 5 years. I will do it, but it doesn't happen. So by when are you going to do it? And have someone holding you accountable for it. What support do you need? Sometimes you need some resources, right? So it's like learning to swim. How many of you have learned how to swim by mail order, like online classes, learning to swim by online classes? Anybody's here? Right? Nobody's here, right? Because that doesn't happen. To swim, you need to really get into the water, right? So till you say, okay, I'm going to learn to swim by applying for this online course, it's never going to happen, guys. You need to learn to swim by getting inside the pool. So when are you going to get inside the pool? So sometimes you might be afraid of deep water. So how are you going to get rid of that fear of deep water? Okay, that doesn't happen by mail order. It happens by doing it. So you need to do it. You need to set a date and you need a support. So sometimes when you're going to swim, learn swimming, you need someone who knows really good swimming to be there with you, right? Otherwise you drown. And that's a risk that you need to take. Now, if you're saying, no, I'm going to swim the first time I get into the pool and get in and you drown, don't blame me, please. Because I'm telling you, don't do that. Okay. Stupidity. So we are sometimes distorting our own superhuman powers, thinking that nothing will happen to me and you jump into the deep end of the pool. You don't do that. Sometimes you do. Lucky people. Okay. There are lucky people out there. Sometimes there are people who get it right the first time they try it. But it doesn't happen always. So we really need to know how it works. Okay. It's okay to try things. I mean, do things without planning also. I'm not saying always you need to follow this, but when you're doing something really big and something that can have big implications on your life, follow the system. So I'm going to just launch this one poll right now about what you do, just to make sure you guys are having. Do you list the steps out and plan everything in advance? Always, sometimes, never. Now, again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just about how you do things. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll be finishing in the next 5 minutes, inshallah. We are at the end. Okay. Right. I'll give 10 more seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay. So all of you voted. Wow, amazing. Good. So always, sometimes, never. Okay. Some people don't do it. That's also fine. I encourage you to do it, because if you are doing it, you might actually end up getting there faster, okay, than what you're doing right now. Okay. Sometimes the speed of things happens faster when you're doing it by writing it down. Okay. Just change the perspective. That's it. So now we are going to the second last slide. So we covered the goal, we covered the reality, we understood what's the options, we understood what you will do. Okay. Do you want to know what's the success secret? Do you want to know the success secret of what this is, how this works? Your commitment. So once you write the goal, you need to write down your commitment on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay. Your goal will actually work for you if your commitment is 9 or 10. If it is 8 or below, there's a good chance that you will not actually reach there because your commitment levels are low. There are chances these commitment levels are not there because there are some challenges, some things that you didn't see. Because our brain does what? It generalizes, it distorts, and it deletes. Okay. So our brain actually puts us in a comfort zone where it is trying to help us survive the world. Okay. So if you look at some of the best athletes in the world, they have coaches. Right? If you look at the best CEOs in the world, they have coaches. If you look at the best performers in the world, they have coaches. Okay, so they have people who help them get that mindset of making sure that the commitment levels are really, really high. Okay, I cannot get up early in the morning and run like Shaheen. Shaheen is someone who has really done 25 kilometers of running in one session. Sajid also has done that, right, with Fazil. The three of them, they have a group called 5 a.m. group. They're able to do it because that group is coaching each other. They're keeping each other motivated, right? And they're making sure the commitment level is really high. If I asked you what's your commitment level, Sajid and Shaheen, what will you say? It's at 9 or 10, right? Please say, please put in your commitment. So paper and pen has not been used yet. Unibhai, you should have written down your goal. I told you to write down your goal earlier. 11. See, they take it out of the room. They break the scale. They break the scale, and that really helps you win. And that's what happens when you're coming together and you coach within your group, and which is where there is some concept called the mastermind groups. I'm not sure whether you guys know what's a mastermind group. Research it. If you are a business owner and you really want to succeed, create a mastermind group where you're coaching each other. Okay, what can you do to increase the commitment? So the journey is not easy. At the initial stages, the commitment levels will be 5. But then you work on that and work on that and work on that. You raise the commitment level to 10. And in case over here, it goes to 11, right? How will you know that you're progressing well? So track your results. Go back. See what you're doing right. What has changed in your reality? How closer? So the reason that arrow is pointing backwards is because it is asking you, how well have you progressed in your goal? What has changed in your reality? What are the options you're using? Did you have to change some of the options? And then what are you doing, or what have you changed on what you're doing? It's very important to revisit all of this to ensure that you're on the right path. The right path might not be the path you created the first time. It will be a path that's totally different from what you created because some perspective changed, some results changed, the world around you changed, right? Like all of us thought of making great profits in 2020, and suddenly what happened? The COVID came in. But that's okay. Still, you can make profit. You just your goal can be the same. You just have to change the way you're getting there. Your goal for 2020 can be the same. You just have to change the way you're getting there. Does that make sense? Yes? Type yes if you think that makes sense. So plus what also happens is, I have to say this because I'm a life coach, create accountability by engaging a coach. Create accountability by engaging a coach. When you have a life coach, you actually start improving your lifestyle, your goals. There's mentoring that comes in, change that comes in, advice comes to you, strategy. You create new strategies, you create more motivation, you have the inspiration, and success comes in and help comes in. It's not necessary you always need a life coach. You can still succeed without a life coach. But when a life coach comes in, you start seeing different perspectives. As I told you, some of the people in this room are my clients. I asked them to come here because I told them there is something important today that's happening, and I want you to listen to this so that you might start getting some different perspectives. I'm sure that I'm going to follow up with them personally. Don't share who's my clients here, guys, if you're not comfortable, but still. The fact is, I will be spending time with them after this, asking them what changed for you after this session. you are working on your goals, what changed for you. Okay. So the final slide, we learned about grow. This is a subject that can be done in 3 days. The same slides I can take 3 days. If you are willing to come and sit and write down your goals and actually create your strategy. I can do this in 1 day and I can do this in 45 minutes. Okay, I can even do this in 5 minutes. I've done this thing in 5 minutes in BNI also. So, but the fact is, it's about how you take it. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Please understand that. As I told you earlier, if you make a plan and you don't take action on the plan, it's just a wish. You have to have a plan. That plan has to work. You have to take action on it. And I want to leave you with one of my most favorite quotes, the 6 P's. I want you to remember the 6 P's. I'm not going to put it out on the slide. I want you to listen it from me. Proper, prior, planning. So Uniba, you can use the pen now. Proper, prior, planning prevents poor performance. Okay, 6 P's. Proper, prior, planning prevents poor performance. So with that, guys, I'm done. My name is Mohammed Shabib, life coach and founder of Zenix Life. And if you want to set up a discovery session with me, which is totally free of cost, just to discuss things, this is the link. I will share this link later in the group. Okay, thank you. Back to Shaheen.
Thank you, Shabib. Now it's open for the question and answer session. So if anyone has any questions, please, they can raise your hands and we'll unmute them. Or you can mute by yourself. And yes, I think Hamidka from Alsuba Trading.
Yeah, first step. What is the meaning of the SWOT? SWOT.
Strength.
So, SWOT is basically a reality analysis tool. It analyzes the reality of your situation. It looks at the strengths of your organization or your personal mental strength in terms of what you're trying to achieve. So it can be done at a personal level. It can be done for a team. It can be done for a company. It can be done at any level. It looks at strengths. It looks at the weaknesses of that entity. It looks at what opportunities that entity is looking to grow in, to go into, and it looks at the threats that that entity is will face. So the strength and weakness are usually internal. So if I am evaluating my SWOT, my strength and my weakness is internal, and then I'm looking at what opportunity I want to do. That is external, and the threats are also external because the threats will affect the opportunity that I want to do. Yeah, sorry, I'll change the screen. So the threat will actually come from outside and impact me. So there are 4 things that you do with these 4 words. So most people do SWOT and they don't know what to do with the SWOT. They make the SWOT analysis and they're like, okay, I made the SWOT, now what? So I want to give you 4 words that will help you back from your SWOT. Can people who are not speaking, please mute? So I'm going to give you 4 words. Okay, Uniba, again, you can use the pen. Okay, you gave me something to pick you up on. So when you make a SWOT, you basically capitalize on your strength. So take the strength and use it as a capital. Okay, to do what? To invest in opportunities. So write the word capitalize against strength and write the word invest against opportunities. Weakness is again internal, right? So weakness is internal. We have to overcome it. We have to replace it with a strength. Okay, so overcoming sometimes is not about fighting that weakness. It's maybe about finding a new strength. So maybe the weakness that is inherent to us is about finding a new strength which will overcome the weakness. So always what people try to do is they try to fight the weakness. Don't try to do that always. Sometimes you find a new strength. So you overcome a weakness with a new strength. Create a new strength. Okay. So weakness has to be overcome or replaced. Okay. So write the word overcome or replace against weakness. Threats are external. So what happens outside the world? Things that are not in our control. These things we have to mitigate or manage. Okay, we have to mitigate or manage. So if you use these verbs, these are verbs, right? Capitalize is a verb, invest is a verb, overcome or replace is a verb, mitigate and manage is a verb. These are the verbs that you will use on these aspects of whatever entity you are evaluating using the SWOT. And you're evaluating the reality of that entity. Does that answer your question, Amitka?
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. So the SWOT is, yeah, Sajid, that's a good question. I can share that. So SMART is usually used in business goals. SWOT is used to create the path towards those business goals. The 7 dimensions, which none of you have seen before, is basically something that we use in deep NLP coaching. We use that in very deep NLP coaching to basically create. Okay, before most of you go, I'm seeing a lot of people leaving. I have one more question for you. Please answer this. For those who are here, on a scale of 1 to 5, how valuable are the takeaways from this session? Okay, so SWOT is basically something that you use with creating that solution to achieve your business goals. 7 dimensions is something that we use as a NLP. If you do not know that concept, please don't try to use it because it's a very deep concept. It has to be used by trained people. I'm not creating any aura around it, but it's something that is very deep and very, very personal for me in terms of the results it can create. It's very powerful. The 3P system can be used for any of your personal goals. I'll give you one more P. Okay, so you can call this 3P plus 1. Okay, 3P plus P. Prioritize. So the 3P system, personal, positive, and present, plus priority. Is it a priority for you right now? So sometimes we come up with things that is not a priority for us. And then we spend time on it because it's not a priority for us. So this is a secret which many people who left might not have got, but this is the secret P. Okay, so 3P plus P. So put the priority in. So these are the ways you can use the different brainstorming techniques. The 3P system can be used by you, and you just need to get a validation from someone you know, someone you trust. That's it.
Any of our guests, any questions from our guests who are not member of Kerala Business Forum, who wanted to raise any questions?
So sharing results, we have 4% of the people who said 2. That's fine, because you might have heard this before. I have not said anything that is new. I just gave you new perspectives. For 50% of the people said scale of 4, and 46% of the people said 5. Thank you so much. And believe me, it's okay. It's okay to be truthful, because sometimes, yes, as I told you, it's just aspect of time. You just need to give time to people. That's it. Okay. Yes.
I had a question, Shabib. Very good session. Thank you very much. One of the things that we find is we apply different techniques, and then we fall by the roadside. We don't get consistency. So
Yes.
how do we ensure consistency in applying the GROW technique?
So my answer for that very simply is create an accountability partner. Okay. So there are different ways to create an accountability partner. You could have your wife as an accountability partner. You could have your best friend. As I told earlier, you saw that 5 a.m. club, which was being created by Fazil, and 5-6 people are actually running tens of kilometers at one session. Like they're covering 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers in 2 hours. That's a group of people who came together. Like a mastermind group. You could also be part of organizations like BNI, where you want to create some certain level of commitments towards generating referrals and helping others. So there are a lot of ways you can do it. The word is very simple. One is your commitment. Is it high? So you have to always keep that commitment levels high. The second word is accountability. You have to have accountability. So if you can create that internal accountability, very good. If it is external accountability, have that. If you feel that that is a weakness, as I told you, replace that with a strength. Bring someone in from outside to create that accountability for you.
Right.
So someone told me, yes, this is not a workshop. So I told you, right, this thing can be extended to 3 days. I can take this to 3 days where it really becomes a workshop. This was basically a lecture workshop, and the thing that I asked you to write down that goal was, and the reason why I asked you the question was to create some realizations. Go back and apply this. What you got now is knowledge. Okay, you have to apply this and create your own wisdom out of it. So I invite you to the thought process that what you heard, yes, is a lecture, can be a semi-workshop, can be a complete workshop for some of you. But the important thing is whatever knowledge you got right now, take it back, apply it, and create your own wisdom and results, please.
Thank you.
Any other questions? 7 dimensions. Yeah, if you go to any NLP based books, you can basically find the 7 dimensions technique. It is very deep. It requires you to have some more knowledge about NLP techniques, because in NLP we do some processes like imagination process, perception process, projection process. So there are some processes which we use, which I have worked with many of people in this group also, and it's created an impact for them. For some people, sleep improved. For some people, they found an answer why they shifted their home. So one person came to me saying that I was not sure why I shifted my home, but after doing this exercise, I got a resolution that this is why I shifted my home. And then he was comfortable with that decision. Till then, it was basically going in his head, and he's a very good friend of mine also. All right. How can you ensure consistency? Nara asked me the question. Any other questions I missed? Want to know more about Mastermind Group? Nisham, just search on just go to BNI. Go online, go to Google and search for Mastermind Groups and you will get it. There is one of the best groups I have seen creating performance. They are not here in Qatar, is the Alpha Project. There's something called the Alpha Project. Basically, even have a franchising system. You could explore that. If you are interested in taking a franchise for Alpha Project, you can look at that. And they give you the complete toolkit to create Mastermind Groups. Is there any other questions? Yes, Shaji, please open your mic.
നമ്മൾ പല സമയങ്ങളിലും ഗോൾ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ പല ആളുകളും ഗോൾ സെറ്റിംഗിൽ ഫെയിലിയർ ആവാറുണ്ട്, ഗോൾ അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. So what should you do actually to set a realistic goal?
So look at what you said, okay? The perspective that you said is many people fail in goal setting. That's your question. So are they failing in goal setting or are they failing in achieving the goals that they set? This is two different things. Some people actually have that problem, Shaji, where they actually set out to set a goal, but they fail to set that goal because they are not able to think beyond a certain point whether the goal is important for them or not.
I'm talking about achieving the goal.
Yeah. So I just brought that perspective to you because this is how we approach when someone comes to us. We see if they're having a problem with setting the goal, and then once the goal is set, in achieving the goal, as I told Nara earlier, it's again about the commitment levels because they go on and they actually might not be a priority for them, or the results that they're creating is actually creating an impact on things which they have to set aside. For example, if someone really loves sweets, and he is going on a diet program, it's very difficult for that person to stick onto the diet program. He will have to literally, this is where sometimes the NLP coach helps. We help them to get over that addiction to sweets. There are certain phobias. I have an example of a coach who helped a child. So there was this coach in Delhi. She's really amazing coach. There was a child, 13-year-old child, who was scared of elevators. This coach was living on the 13th floor of the child went up 13 stairs because he didn't want to get into the elevator. He was scared. After a 45-minute session, the child went down in the elevator alone. Got it? So a lot of our goal achievements is usually because of what happens inside our head. It's not because of something else outside. And our thoughts sometimes actually come in our way. So it's a combination of a lot of things. It's not just one or two things. We really have to understand what is actually affecting us. Is it that internal thought? Is it a lack of knowledge? Now, Shaji, you remember when I did the other workshop, you saw the entire video, you came back to me, and then you actually told me what to change. When I changed that, it actually became more powerful. So my goal out of that workshop, opportunity workshop, was to get that message of opportunity to more people. And when you came to me with that knowledge that you have, I changed that because my goal is not to be right. My goal is to help people with the right information. Got it? So that, when the goal becomes good, the whole perspective of how your life is being lived and how you will be open to suggestions really improves and you really start achieving better things. And to give you a feedback, I took of someone who's a financial expert and they really appreciated the fact that I was using the right terms. Thank you, Shaji, for that.
I have one more question actually. So most of the time we use SWOT analysis, right?
Yeah.
So the threat, you're talking about threat and we have to mitigate these threats. And here what happened in COVID time, പല ആളുകളും they have made SWOT analysis because always make decision on the basis of SWOT analysis. പല ആളുകളും നമ്മൾ KBF-ലുള്ള ആളുകൾ 5 to 10 million പല പ്രൊജക്ടുകളിലായിട്ട് even after SWOT analysis they have invested. But they can't mitigate that risk now. So what is your suggestion or
you have to manage it? You have to manage through this. So managing through this is sometimes accepting the reality and accepting the fact that your investment has not created the result you're looking for, and you have to find other alternatives. So the biggest issue is when we have things that is happening against our expectations, our feelings becomes aggravated. We get stressed. We create behaviors that is not actually helping us to move forward in life. So sometimes we have to actually accept and manage and actually create an alternative out of it. There is no other way out. I'm telling you, like, this is life. This is what life is about. As I told you, sometimes we make an error in judgment. That error in judgment pulls that. So if you go back to that first screen which I shared, I showed that sometimes it is about the discipline. So like what you said, the investors made a decision based on a discipline which they actually created. But then the COVID came in. Now this was something that nobody could expect, and it became an error in judgment which actually went down. Now again, they have to approach it with the same momentum of how they created SWOT, and then see how they can actually manage the situation come out. Maybe they'll win, maybe they'll fail. But the fact is, they only fail if they stop trying over there and not finding a new solution for what they're trying to come. Sometimes that project might have to be shut down. Then they have to find another thing they have to work on. This is how life is. We have to accept it. Acceptance of what is not in our control is one of the biggest way to go ahead, because you understand what is your limitations. That actually helps you push further. If you looked at again, I'm really impressed by what the results the 5 AM Club has created. They understood the limitations and they have been working towards it eventually. And one of the things that what I saw was, I think it was Sajid or Fazil, I'm not sure, after that half marathon, he wrote that, I think Fazil, it was you who wrote that time period of rest to recover and go on to the next goal, right? So Fazil, it was you who wrote it, right? Yeah. So that is it. So he understood. He has achieved something. Now there is a limitation he can put on, pressure he can put on his body. He has to let it rest. He has to recover from it. And then he will go on to the next achievement. So many of the things that we see around us are basically by replicating behaviors. And these behaviors that we use in many of our goals can be replicated in many aspects of our life. So if you see someone who's a high success in one area, you will see that they are also success in other areas because they're replicating the same system and using the same behaviors. Once you create a behavior, it becomes very powerful. I hope that answers your question, Shri.
Yes, great answer.
Thank you.
Could we have one last question more, because we are running really out of time?
Yeah. Last question. Thank you for the feedback, guys. I really appreciate it. Anybody else? Any questions? If not, we can close it. Shane, I'm fine. I know there's a lot of questions on your mind. If you have anything, I will share this link. Please come to me. We can brainstorm together. No problem.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shabib. Actually, normally our sessions are basically 45 minutes, but today, like, even it's 1 hour 15 minutes, like how.
No, it took 1 hour. I started at 7:45. Okay.
So how the time went, like nobody even realized, like everyone was so much deeply engrossed in your talk that, like, and of course it was very informative session, and I'm not taking much time. Let me go ahead. Could I invite the president of Kerala Business Forum, Mr. K.R. Jayaraj, for his talk? Mr. Jayaraj.
Good evening, all. Once again, is all our guests left or anybody?
We have. Still we have.
Non-Malayalam speaking people are there?
No, all Malayalis, no.
Okay. വളരെ ചെറുതായിട്ട് ഷോർട്ടായിട്ട് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞാൽ, മുറ്റത്തെ മുല്ലയ്ക്ക് മണമുണ്ട് എന്ന് നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും മാറ്റി പറയേണ്ട ഒരു സെഷനാണിത്. ഈ ഷബീബിന്റെ പേര് ഈ സെഷനിൽ വന്നപ്പോൾ നെറ്റിച്ചുളിച്ച ആളുകളുണ്ട് എന്നെനിക്കറിയാം. കാരണം എപ്പോഴും നമ്മളുടെ എല്ലാം ധാരണ മുറ്റത്തെ മുല്ലയ്ക്ക് മണമില്ല എന്നാണ്. പക്ഷെ എനിക്ക് കോൺഫിഡൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഞാൻ ഇതുവരെ നമ്മൾ കണ്ട KBFന്റെ വെബിനാർസും ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ സെഷനുമായിട്ട് ഒന്ന് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ടെക്നോളജിയും കണ്ടന്റും കൂടി സിങ്ക്രണൈസ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു സെഷനായിരുന്നു. ഞാൻ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്തതിൽ ഏറ്റവും നന്നായിട്ട് അത് സിങ്ക്രണൈസ് ചെയ്ത, വളരെ എളുപ്പത്തിൽ നമ്മളിലേക്ക് കാര്യങ്ങൾ എത്തിക്കുന്ന, വളരെ ഈസി ആയിട്ട് നമ്മളിലേക്ക് കാര്യങ്ങൾ കൺവേ ചെയ്യുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള
അത് മുൻപത്തെ സെഷനോടുള്ള അനീതിയാണ്.
No, I will not say anything because everyone has their.
You will get a time to talk. This is my time, so please let me finish. ഞാൻ മുറിഞ്ഞുപോയി. ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചിരുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങള്
ഫ്ലോ പോയി.
മുല്ലപ്പൂമാല
രണ്ട് ഇതുവരെയുള്ള സെഷനുകൾ ഒരു സെഷൻ നടത്തിയ ആള് എന്നൊരു ശരിയെ ഞാൻ മാറ്റി നിർത്തുന്നു. നമ്മള് പല ആളുകളെയും ക്ഷണിച്ച് നമ്മുടെ ഈ വെബിനാറിൽ അല്ലാതെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ വർക്ക്ഷോപ്പ് നടത്തിയപ്പോഴെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ഈവൻ പെയ്ഡ് ട്രെയിനേഴ്സ് വരെ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടത് ഒരു 30 to 40% of the time they used to advertise themselves. ഇത് അങ്ങനെ അല്ലാത്ത ഒരു സെഷനായിരുന്നു. കൂടുതൽ സമയവും ആ സബ്ജക്റ്റിൽ ഒതുങ്ങി നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് ആ സബ്ജക്റ്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുകയും അവസാനം ലൈഫ് കോച്ചിങ്ങിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ഫ്രീ സെഷനിൽ സംസാരിക്കാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു സെഷനാണ്. ഇനി ഇതെല്ലാം മാറ്റി നിർത്തിയാൽ എന്നെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരെയും സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം we are very close to our heart. Actually, when this session date is confirmed, I wanted to introduce Shabib. That is why I asked in the group who is introducing Shabib. So Unnibai said he wanted to do it. Then I said okay. Otherwise, my intention was I wanted to introduce.
അതെനിക്കറിയാമായിരുന്നു, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞത്.
So that is how we are keeping you so close to our heart. I met Shabib as a fellow BNI member, and from there I've seen him growing when he took over BNI. Some of us must have already left BNI if it would not have been Shabib leading BNI in Qatar. അപ്പൊ ആ രീതിയിൽ ഷബീബിന്റെ ഗ്രോത്ത് ഞങ്ങള് ഒരുപാട് ക്ലോസ് ആയിട്ട് കണ്ടതാണ്. ഷബീബ് ഇപ്പൊ ഒരു ലൈഫ് കോച്ചിന്റെ രീതിയിലേക്ക് വന്നത് ഒരുപാട് നാളെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള ഒരു ലൈഫ് കോച്ച് അല്ല ഷബീബ്. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ബിക്കോസ് ഓഫ് ഹിസ് ഹാർഡ് വർക്ക്, lot of time and effort he has put in it is his passion. അതിലാണ് ഷബീബ് ഈ ഒരു ഗ്രോത്ത് വന്നത്. We are extremely happy about it. Thank you very much, Shabib, and we are always there with you, and I believe you will reach to another level